Perfect.
So, welcome to this episode of the 365 Fitness Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Flick on the pod. She's been a member of ours since May of last year. We're going to learn a little bit more about Flick's story, about why she joined 365, and more importantly, why she has stayed with us at 365. And hopefully, some of the things that you listen to today may well resonate with you and give you that little nudge that you need to come and join us as well. So, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, James.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and I guess what led to you reaching out to us in the first place.
I came to 365 last May. I was recommended by a lovely friend who said, I go to this great gym. She could see I was struggling. It was a year post treatment for breast cancer. And I thought everything would come back and physically I'd be back where I needed to be. I was really struggling. Gone through the treatment, I'd gone through surgery. That had been fine. I'd been taking meds for a year and I was beginning to find the side effects were giving me some real issues that apparently I could address with more exercise. So I'd gone to a gym, I tried it, but again, I was getting hip pain, knee pain, just discomfort and great fatigue. So I was like, I've got a busy, active life outside of trying to find time to take exercise. I need to make this easier. So when somebody introduced me to 365, I was like, right, we're good to go.
Awesome. And when you then gave it a go, I guess what thoughts potentially were going through your head at the time? How did you then, I guess, make it work? What changes did you have to make to?
I don't think when I joined, I wasn't very happy and I wasn't very confident physically where I was at. I was finding tasks that I wanted to do with these and had done 18 months previously with these. They were escaping me. They'd become more difficult. I joined and I only joined at the beginning doing 2 sessions in the small groups because I needed that attention from the PTs. I needed to be shown again how to lift. And I was going through all the motions and I could do all the squats and everything, but sometimes I was doing it and when I went home, I was really tired and in pain. So I could come back with that feedback. And then I found that we were able to take any exercise, modify it slightly, so I could do it with more ease and less pain afterwards. And then gradually I was able to build that up and get more confident and start more classes.
Awesome. And obviously, like I said, you've been with us since May of last year now. What I guess has kept you coming back and what's made this now a way of life for you rather than a short-term thing?
It's becoming compulsory because post any life changing diagnosis. We all know now that exercise is a way to alleviate symptoms, but also to try and protect your body and yourself for the future. And in fact, regardless, we're all supposed to be exercising more. I think finding time to exercise regularly is a luxury. It shouldn't be. And the thing about coming here is 365 makes it easy. You have so many classes in one day. I'm self-employed. I was working full time, but I could dip in and out. And when my meetings and commitments were, I could find the time. It's convenient. I could get here very quickly. There's always parking. And the fact that no 2 lessons, no 2 classes are the same really appeals to me because I get bored quite easily.
And I think the time one is really important
Yeah.
to touch on a little bit further because at the moment, bear in mind we've only just opened in this new space. I'm having a lot of phone conversations at the moment with potential new members.
Yeah.
And quite often the stumbling block for a lot of people is that they don't have the time or they can't find the time to look after themselves. I guess for you, what did you have to change anything or was it purely a mind? Was that a bit of a shift that you had to go through? What changed for you that made you go from the person that potentially, like you say, time being a luxury and might not have made the time before to then making it?
And I think when I was like, if I look back, when I was 45 and I went to do a sailing competition or a skiing holiday or something that involved a lot of physicality, I just get up and do it. And then I was diagnosed at 50, but I was already beginning to think, oh, I've got to do more fitness because things are coming to me as easy as they should. Then after the diagnosis and after the treatment, I don't know whether it's, I do, but it's the onslaught of the lovely menopause. It means that you've got to keep active and you've got to, and I know that I am getting stronger. It's nowhere near the pace that I had done in my 30s or 40s if I started taking so much exercise, but gradually I am improving and I am getting stronger. And that's the impetus to get going. Next, I've kind of got to tackle a bit of weight loss, but for me, it's been about turning up and being here. And that's why I've changed my week, if you like, to make sure I can get here as much as possible. And yeah, you're right. I couldn't have done that before, but now I find it's compulsory because it makes you feel a lot better. And I know it's like paying into a pension earlier on in life. If you haven't done it, if I don't put the time in now,
Mhm.
I'm going to be in real trouble by the time I get to my 70s and 80s, I think.
Brilliant. I think I've said to a couple of people recently, and I've used that similar example of, well, if your work is so busy and everyone is so busy, like this world now moves so fast that what was to, if you then, like you say, a sudden illness or there's an injury or something happens that stops you in your tracks, if you haven't potentially been looking after your health beforehand, or it's probably going to cost you more in the time you've got to stop if you're self-employed
Yeah.
and you can't then do the thing that you're supposed to be doing to work and earn a living. Whereas actually, if you were to give yourself an hour, 2 hours a week, where you do then go and do your exercise or something that's going to hopefully give you that bit of longevity, as you say, as you do get older, that's probably going to pay off better in the long run than it would
Yeah. And
concentrating on.
in the past, I've never said to clients, sorry, I can't turn up at that time because I've booked a class or I've got physio or I've got something going on. Now, I might say that and nobody minds. I think I often get the response, oh, well done. Are you? Well, that's great. And they don't mean it because of what I've personally been through. They mean it in like, "Oh, well done, you found the time." And that's what I think everyone's struggling to do. But I also think the workplace might be shifting slightly and more people are accepting if you say, I'm taking it. And a class doesn't take an hour, it takes an hour and 15 minutes, doesn't it? So it's not a lunch hour, but we're all working that bit more flexibly. So I use that with my work and my clients. I'd love it if it was easier for everybody to follow that example. I know it's not, but I do think it's important that we start to push back slightly because sitting for 8 hours at a desk in a tense position isn't great for us. It does damage our hips. It does. We know movement is key. And then there's movement that you do when you come to this gym. It's the weights, it's the pushing it forward, it's the variety and the using the different muscle sets. Yeah, it's really crucial. And I hope I haven't left it too late, if I'm honest.
Never too late to start doing something, absolutely not. And what would you say would make us and people that come through it, what would you say makes us different to the experience that I think a lot of people would get when they go to a normal gym? So I still think there's at the moment we're still very young
Yeah.
as a business, so people aren't often aware of what it is that we do or how we do it as such. What would you say differentiates 365 from the gym up the road?
I have siblings who go to different gyms in parts of the country, and I showed one of them recently a group photo that was on Instagram 365. And they went, wow, look at that. It's a group and everyone's smiling. We never have that. Or my brother, that he trains with a personal trainer, and they have a discussion, but it's not the usual giggle or banter that might go around the small groups or even the team sessions. And all that helps you take exercise without realizing you're doing it. So there's actual social interaction as well as enjoyment, which is not something I've really associated with the gym before. And I think that makes a difference. And as I said, it's the sheer number of classes and different classes you've got that means I can always find or book into something when I know I've got a bit of work that's flexed.
And I think like I would add to that the nice thing, like I think in your circumstances was how it's so easy to tailor things, and on any given day there might be something different going on in your world,
Yeah.
and actually it doesn't mean that you can't do something or you shouldn't
No.
do something. There's always something you can.
Yeah. And one thing I do find quite interesting, because I had to do menopause pains, was suddenly the aches and pains. So the foot pain, the knee pain, or the hips. And some mornings I wake up, I'm like, oh, I go to the gym and how do I get? And it's fine, I get in there, but I'm not alone. There's somebody else who's got a sore neck. There's people recovering from injuries to Achilles, knees. And everyone might say, this isn't working quite so well because, or they might not. And what I find quite interesting is all your PTs spot it when somebody's not moving properly or just a bit too stiff. Or I was doing squats at the beginning of yesterday. They hurt because my hips were sore. And Anita was like, what's up? And I went, sore hips. But she'd modified the exercise. I had a step underneath and then a wedge, sorry. And then within 10 squats, I was moving her. So that's the other thing, is I don't think you should be put off just because you've got something you're managing or a condition. Because it's not that kind of gym, it's here for everybody. And there's lots of people who haven't got anything and they're very lucky and they absolutely beast it and show the rest of us up. And we all work out together, and it's quite interesting because everyone actually is here who's very sympathetic, because it's all about exercise.
And what would you say, I guess, we're not for your typical gym goers as such, and
Yeah.
we don't have people here that are interested in training 5 days a week. A lot of the people that come here, they come here to exercise to complement their life outside of the gym. Now, we know that you have quite a hectic schedule outside of the gym, but I guess what benefit have you noticed, and what do you think other people would notice that exercising in the gym has given them that you didn't perhaps associate with the benefit you would get outside of the gym?
So I now know that the end of March is beginning of, for me, the dinghy racing season. So I now know, okay, because I've benefited from all the winter training, that I'm going to step into a boat at the end of March. And normally, I'm quite careful before I'm concerned about how strong I'm going to be before I go out racing. I'm not now. I'm really looking forward to kicking off and getting on with the season. And I'm looking forward to the big season, the big waves, knowing that I've got the physical strength to actually carry on sailing when the conditions are rough and you're tired. I'll have the strength to do it. The other thing is, I've got two boys, so just trying to keep up. I don't want to disappear or stay home when they're doing activities like a ski holiday. I want to be at the front of it and I want to be part of it. So that's why coming here is makes that all possible.
Awesome. I guess, what would you say, you've got people that probably do watch our social media posts, they're probably on our mailing list, they're sitting there in the shadows as such, seeing what we do, but they haven't quite committed yet, or they're not in the position to commit just yet. What would you say to that person that is, I guess, just on the edge of...
Well, I was pretty angry and pretty low in confidence when I turned up here to come and exercise. So if I can do it, I think anybody can. My starting point was not a great one. So there's no point hesitating. Just come and try it. And by trying it, you'll meet the rest of everybody else, and you'll find that it's actually quite enjoyable. Whatever you're going through, or your reasons behind it, they're probably the same as somebody else in the room. Or if they're not, people will be interested to know. And everyone cheers everyone on. Even when you're having a bad day, you can't lift that. Doesn't matter. The fact you turned up and going through it, makes you feel better, and everyone will still be pleased you're here.
Awesome. I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could sum up 365 in 3 words, what would it be?
3 words. Hang on. That's quite hard to limit things. So, well, you make it easy, I think. In a world that's quite complicated, that's got pressures, where we haven't got time to do this, you make taking exercise easy. It's enjoyable. And also, I know by coming here, I'm investing in my future. So I've got a little bit more control back on what's going on with me. And that's a good feeling.
I mean, it wasn't quite 3 words. It was good enough. Thank you very much.
You're
It's been a
welcome.
privilege to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
If anyone's listening to this and they think, "Do you know what, I resonate with that," or there's been something in there that you think, "Do you know what, now is the time to do it," don't hesitate to reach out, because the hardest thing is to take that first step. Once you've made the first step, the rest is easy.
That's true.
Lick, thank you very much.